Hey guys, I hope you're all well. In this video, I want to have a look at the different ways that you can create interesting and sort of varied techno sequences. This is more specifically geared to synths or synth sounds and how you could go about creating them. Now, when I make my music, the majority of my synth parts are created through sampling or very specifically through loading samples into the new Synplant 2 and generating them from there. But in large part, I pretty much keep everything within samples. Now, the first way is the way that I use most. I've also seen this about a lot recently. I've seen a lot of videos on this. So no harm in bringing it to some more people. I hope this finds some people who maybe haven't seen this technique before. But it's very simple and it does yield, I think personally, very interesting results because you can just drag and drop samples in and see how they sound. Now, this is what I have going at the moment. I'll just solo this and play it. Now, to get a tight and short sound from Granulator, there are a few things that I would suggest doing or looking at in order to tighten up your sounds. Now, this is how your Granulator will load. You can mess with the grain size. This would change how your sequence sounds. It's worth doing that to sort of find an appropriate length for the kind of thing that you're looking for. Now, the second thing that is very important that I think is a setting that's kind of overlooked is the actual grain shape. I don't know if you can see, I'm mousing over it here. It's right next to the scan option here and to the left of the AM option. Now, the tighter this is, the shorter the actual audio in the grain, the shorter the grain. Now, this is a really good way to control your sound. If you pair this with your ADSR, what I'll do is I'll just reset the ADSR setting so you'll hear what it sounds like. Now, because the release is so long, it's getting to the end of this grain envelope here and playing more. So what I usually do is I turn the sustain way down, and then I usually turn the release down as well entirely, unless I want some of these to sort of bleed over. Sometimes you can get some cool results from that. But what I'll usually do is mess with the decay. But it's a really brilliant way of getting some interesting sounds. I'll just touch on one more thing that you can do, is you can use this. You can use a chord, you can use the Ableton chord MIDI effects. And now, what this allows us to do, we'll just see how this sounds. Yeah, interesting stuff. So the chord we can just create those fun dissonant sort of techno chords. So we'll leave this for now and we'll move on to the next. So this next one that we're going to look at is literally the standard Ableton sampler, but in the one-shot mode. Here, you know, if I have a sample that I quite like, I might find one sort of synth hit of that. Maybe if it's drums, I'll sort of do the same, find a drum hit that I like, and just find a nice tone, a nice part of it. Do the same thing, load up a sequencer, do what I can there. Now, what you can do in this is similar to what you can do with some loops. I'll show you here. This is a hat, I think. Now what you can do here is you can press this forward button here on the transients and it will tighten the sound up more and more and more. Now what we can actually do is the same thing in this. If you see here, it says preserve mode. But this is also a viable option. It is one that I use for smaller, less complex sequences. But one thing that shouldn't be overlooked is this middle section of the control panel in the sequencer, or the sampler, sorry. And using this to create pitch and panning variations and variations on the filter, I think it's something that shouldn't be overlooked. Now the last thing is in the sampler again, but this is using slice mode. Now this is a different sample. This is something that I enjoy doing a lot, actually. I used to do this quite often. I don't do it as much now because I do just use granulator and phase plant and all these things instead. But this is brilliant. Let's just listen to this. Now the thing I like with this is it's just even easier. You just drag and drop stuff in. You just don't have to think about it. Yeah, okay, cool. That's kind of it. That's sort of what I wanted to show you. These are the methods that I use mostly. The granulator one, I think, will really give you the most mileage and get you sort of the most interesting results. So yeah, make some cool stuff. I'll catch you guys in the next. Cheers guys, see you later.